The anime answered the call, baby. In a genre completely and utterly dominated by a single crowd, you'll be quick to notice when once in a blue moon a different player comes and pokes his little head into the limelight. And what a damn good head it was. I'm talking, of course, about WATANARE, or less commonly known as There's No Freaking Way I'll Be Your Lover. Unless. And now that the anime has completed its seasonal airing, it'd be a great disservice to not give my patented drool session to it. Now, I'll try to keep this review somewhat spoiler-free. It might be hard to make references without being specific, but for the most part, I'll leave out narrating important details. And I'll preface this by saying that I have not read the light novel or manga. This is an anime-only perspective. So please refrain from any spoilers, you nerds. So the rundown is Amari Reneko has just started high school with a new goal: to not repeat her cringe middle school years of being a gloomy introvert and social outcast. She speedran this goal by getting acquainted with her class's top Madonnas and eventually befriending them, all the while believing that they'll be her ticket to a fun and normie high school life. Those dreams are immediately dashed when the top diva, Ozuka Mai, confessed to Reneko after just solidifying their friendship the day prior, with Reneko desiring friendship and Mai desiring love. How will Reneko achieve her aspirations? And what's this? It turns out her other supposed friends are revoking their friendship cards too, and upgrading to premium. How's a poor girl supposed to get through high school normally when gorgeous ladies keep throwing themselves on her? Well, Reneko's just gonna have to stick to her guns. But that's a flimsy statement when your opponents are bringing atomic bombs to a pillow fight. Now, specifically as a harem anime, Watanare doesn't really break away from any usual norms. We have an introverted main character who wants nothing more than a sense of normalcy, and is reluctantly thrust into situations where hot girls fight against each other to feast on protagonist a la mode. And of course, many wacky and slightly lewd scenarios play out. I'm dumbing it down, obviously, but that is what's only on the surface. What the series really excels at is digging deep into the insecurities of the human psyche. Every one of Reneko's would-be suitors experience difficulties such as with responsibility and relationships, and our harem protagonist herself is chained to the ever-present conundrum of appeasing others in order to fit into some sort of preconceived mold, lest she be ostracized from a social standing. Of course, at the end of the day, this series is really about maturing and learning to love ourselves and each other.
No way!
Yeah, not a total shock from a series where characters fall in love and do stuff together, but I'm also referring to love in both a romantic and a caring sense. We see people for who they are when they have to give it their all for a loved one, and subsequently grow as a person. Reneko, despite wanting to maintain a status quo and recoils from any hint of friction, goes to great lengths to provide emotional and physical support to our dear friends. Initially, she didn't have much say in anything, pretty much being conga-lined by her peers to go along with whatever crazy hijinks they have cooked up. But along the way, she learns about their vulnerabilities and how much their relationship means to her, whether it's as friends or as lovers. Reneko learns to care deeply for their well-being, though for some, she will only admit to being more than friends and less than lovers. Seriously, this girl's so trapped in the closet she became the ambassador to Narnia and Monstropolis. And while we're on the topic of our main character, I was personally very pleased to see our what-if scenario of Hitori from Bocchi the Rock reaching her full Yuri Harem potential. I just couldn't stop chuckling at how similar Reneko was to our other pink-haired loner, in more ways than one. But the main takeaway is that just like Bocchi, Reneko was able to slowly come out of her shell, and ironically not realize that our unique introversion helped her gain the things that really matters. As for her harem, Ozuka Mai, who was considered to be Miss Perfection and probably had everything handed to her, has never experienced the feeling of being denied something. But after a royal fuck-up, she eventually learns from Reneko to proceed with relationships with more decency and communication, though it's still debatable if she really took this lesson to heart. I jokingly tweeted that Mai might be the unintentional villain of the series, but the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. Let's just say her mindset is unapologetically black and white. You're lucky you got looks, girl. Next is my personal favorite character, Koto Satsuki, who's sharp as a tack, but lacks the confidence that she'll ever surpass a certain horny blonde. Through sheer devotion, Reneko was able to inspire the melancholic maiden to finally find even ground with her rival, and win through her own creative means. I will say that Satsuki's arc is the least consequential, and what led to it does seem kind of forced, but it did still lead to Reneko instilling Satsuki with more sense of pride and worth. She also helped her mature beyond her unexpected purity.
初めてだったのに
And then there's Ajisai Senna, who despite her warm and affectionate exterior, is really just hiding a lonely soul crying out to be herself. Once again, it was our miracle-working harem protagonist who allowed Senna to finally break away from her constantly appeasing others routine, showing her that it was perfectly fine indulging herself now and then. And what an amazing payoff that had! Reniko and ironically Mai gave her a +10 in confidence. And in my opinion, they really saved the best arc for last. At least in the season. Now, aside from the amazing cast, I want to give props to the show's production. The music is whimsical and subtle, and the opening and ending themes are super catchy. But most importantly, thank fucking God they gave a rat's ass about the animation. Yuri anime aren't exactly known for their big budgets and TLC. Therefore, the aesthetics typically got the crap end of the stick. In fact, my worst fear was seeing another Whisper Me a Love Song fiasco. All I can say is my heart goes out for you, Takashi Mieko. I'm sure you're breathing a sigh of relief after seeing Watanare though. But yeah, you can tell they put in a lot of effort in the animation. The girls are expressive, lighting and shading is prominent, and they throw in plenty of those cool effects screens so the scene doesn't get too dull visually. And major respect for going all out on those gaming scenes too. Most studios would just cheap out and go with the laziest option possible. But Watanare actually put some thought into how these scenes are structured, and the CGI itself isn't terrible either. I'll admit I was slightly concerned about the direction of the show after watching the first episode. The pacing was very rapid, and the way the show just drops all that information in our laps was kinda jarring. But thankfully it found its footing soon after. And if I were to fish with some other complaints, I did notice some instances where the editing was too sudden, which are clearly mistakes. But man, better that than a menagerie of technical errors. I'm never gonna let this go, am I? Overall, the show is a testament to people who give a flying about making a respectable adaptation. It stands among other amazing contemporaries such as Maji Revo, Arachi and Shimamura, and even Bloom into You. The more shows like these that exist, the more people there'll be who take the Yuri genre seriously. And would it kill them to make more Yuri Harem anime? I can count the number of them on the hand of a Ninja Turtle, whereas you can count the number of heterosexual harem anime on the hands of a Buddhist statue. The point is, we're getting shafted like a little dingleberry. But for now, I'm glad that the latest addition to the Yuri scene is a smashing hit with audiences. And with a sequel on the way very soon, I can only see things looking up for the series. Bit of a spoiler, but the sequel will cover the remaining harem member Koyanagi Kaho's arc, in the form of 5 more episodes. It is a shame that they couldn't just make the show more streamlined though. I mean, I guess it had to be more than 12 episodes, but at least have them premiere all together so it feels more finalized. I don't know. Personally, I've never seen an anime structured like this. A 12-episode season with add-on episodes to round it out. And not only that, but apparently those add-on episodes will premiere in theaters first as a theatrical edition, then will air later as just regular episodes that aren't gonna be structured like the theatrical edition.
What the hell did you just say?
Anyway, let me know if you intend to pick this show up. And if you already watched it, how does it rank among other Yuri rom-coms? To me, it's the perfect blend of dramatic comedy, and that's not an easy feat to pull off. So kudos to you, Watanare, and I look forward to glazing it even more in the future. Alright, see you around.